My dear followers, I stand before you today to share a revelation. For too long, we have been hidden in the shadows, forced to conceal our true nature and our beliefs from the rest of the world. But no longer will we live in the darkness. Our time has come. We have made a connection with the Neverlight Architect, a being of immense power and darkness, whose arrival on this world will herald a new era of darkness and destruction. His power will consume the light and bring about a new order, where the strong and the faithful will rise above the weak and the unworthy. My dear followers, I urge you to remain steadfast in your devotion, to continue to spread our message and our beliefs, and to prepare yourself for—
Turn off the light.
Oh shit, scatter.
Hello again. Welcome to Fleshcraft Studio. I'm Fraggy, and today we are starting on a new season that is a little bit more nightmarish. This new season I'm working on will be focused a lot around darkness and a little bit Cthulhu inspired, and we're also going to take some inspiration from Mantic Games' Night Stalkers along with OPR's Shadow Stalkers. And what I mean with that is we are now compatible with one-page rules. They have their own game, you can check it out in the description. So they have their own set of rules for a faction called the Shadow Stalkers. And we are going to make some models that fit those rules, but we are also going to make a custom army for one-page rules, which have their own set of rules. And in this video I'm going to work on some models called the Black Oath Acolytes. And just like last time, I'm going to take you through the whole process from the beginning to also this time I'm going to show you how I render my models and also the turntable in the end. I believe that's all, so let's just get to the video. So starting off, I took some assets from my previous models. In this case, I took my old Vestari model from the December release, and the Vestari model looks more vampiric in nature, but for these cultists I wanted them to look more human, and I really loved how the head and the body turned out for the Vestari, so I took that as a base and changed it to look more human-like, and I really loved how the head turned out, especially. It looks very fanatical. And after that I started on the clothes. So you can see I made the cape here, and I tried to make this Plague Doctor mask, but I later decided not to use that, but you will see that in a minute. And here I'm just making a bunch of different stuff on his armor and just trying to add a lot of small things so there's something happening everywhere. And it's here I decided I wanted to go with another mask. But then I decided that not all of the models should have a mask, because now I made that human head and I actually wanted to show the face. And now I'm starting to make a couple of weapons. I started off with this dagger. And I decided I also wanted them to have a scythe. And then a little scroll. And also a raven to put on one of their arms or shoulders. It's going to be a separate part, so you can actually just put it on whatever kind of model you want to. And here we are starting to see all of the shadow stuff that's going to be on all of the models. And now we are making a little friend for the cultist. They're going to have this little shadow thing crawling up on their shoulders. It's mostly for the game mechanic, because they need some sort of protective shield. So they have like an extra defense where it's supposed to be this kind of shadow fiend that's protecting them. These models are going to be semi-modular, which means that the poses are predetermined, but the hands are not attached. So I'm going to make some different hand poses where they hold the weapons in different kind of ways. The most challenging bit about these models are that the pose should be able to hold both a scythe with both hands and also a dual-wielder dagger in a normal hand. And that was quite challenging, because some poses that looks good with a two-handed scythe doesn't necessarily look good with two daggers. So I also made a couple of scythe parts where only one hand holds the scythe, so not all the poses were holding the scythe with both hands. It crashed. Great. But thankfully we didn't lose much progress, so let's just continue. So here's a small tip: always save. Save, save, save. So for this batch of unit, I decided I wanted to go with 6 models. And I usually do that for a unit of 10 models, where 5 of them are like the normal guys, and then the 6th one are the leader model for that unit. And usually in these types of war games there's always one leader model, and he is supposed to look a little bit more unique, so he's going to have the mask on. And then for the 5 models, you can just mirror them if you want them all to look more unique when you have them all collected as a 10 model unit. And also if you want to double the size, so you have 20 models, you still need that 1 leader unit, so that's why I'm making a separate one. So right here I'm just testing out the Raven, see where it can stand on different types of models. I apologize if this looks a little bit crazy. What I'm doing is that I'm making polygroups for each model. And if you don't know ZBrush, it is a bit tough to explain, but it makes it so I can mask certain areas of a model, and I need to do this for when I'm rendering it. And I'll show it to you in a bit. So right now I'm decimating each model, which means that I am going from a very high poly count to a very low poly count, but they keep the details as much as possible. And then I'm going to export the models so they can be supported by Table Flip Foundry. And that's the version that you guys get. And now I'm making 6 different types of pose models with weapons and the shadow fiends and all that stuff. And that is just for the rendering, so you guys can see the final result. And this is for the turntable. And this is for the rendering. I want to make sure that they aren't overlapping each other, so I can separate them inside Photoshop later. And right now I'm making sure that all the bases, all the metal and all the clothes and such are the same poly group. And it looks insane in this speed, but I'm going to show you why. Now I'm picking some different kind of materials for the rendering. And now I am using the ZBrush to Photoshop C plugin, which is incredibly easy to use. I basically just have to pick some materials and what kind of effects I want, and then it just renders it and automatically imports all of it into Photoshop. You can see the colored layers here, and those are the polygroups. So I make sure that all the shadow fiends have the same color, all the metal parts have the same color, and so on. So I can just mask them out and put them as a mask layer to the different materials, and it's already applied. Then I'm just adding some few details here and there, changing the colors, adding some lights. You know, easy stuff. And there you go. Thank you so much for watching this video once again. I am deeply honored you want to waste your time watching this. If you're interested in receiving these models yourself, they are going to be available on the 10th of May this month. So you can either choose to subscribe to my Patreon or my tribes over on my mini factory. There's literally no difference on wherever you go. It's just a preference. If you subscribe, you can become a member of my Discord channel. I am very active and I love to talk with all of you, and I'm listening to all of your ideas and watching your paint jobs, and you're doing such a great job. I believe that's it. So thank you again for watching, and see you next time.
Where are my pills?